I'm Adora Nwofor, and welcome to Living a Creative Life. Today, I'll introduce you to 3 creators who are making our city a better place by sharing their authentic lives. Today, a lucky penny, comfortable in your own skin, and something good for the community. First up on the show, we visit a home studio to meet an artist who finds inspiration from lost or abandoned metal objects.
I tend to take objects that other people don't find interesting or think they're trash or throw them away and bring them up to the light so that you can see the beauty in them. So I go by P. Susanah Windrum. It's P, initial, short for Penelope. Being a Penelope, as a kid you get called Penny. And you cannot be called Penny and not look for lucky pennies. So I'm one of the kids and adults that looks at the ground all the time, always finding cool things. What can I do with this? What can I do with this? As you look for lucky pennies, right? A coin that we no longer have in Canada, but it was the lowest denomination. So often people threw them away. They just threw them on the street because they didn't think they were worth anything. But they're beautiful, they're copper, they change, and I always pick them up. And so now when I started to pick up rusty bottle caps and weird other things, I made them into these brooches, and I call them luckies because they're lucky that they were found where you find your pennies, but they also got a second chance at life. They got another opportunity to be. When I pick up a piece of metal, it has a history, it has a story already, which I find very intriguing, even if I don't exactly know what it is. And the other thing is pareidolia. So I look at a piece of metal and I see a face or an arm or something, and I didn't even know that that's what I was doing till very recently that I heard the term and went, oh. Somebody said, you know when you look at a cloud and you see a dragon? That's pareidolia. And I'm like, oh, that's my work. That's what I do. I look at things and I see what it could be, and then I want to make it so that you can see that too. Not everybody does. Not everybody does. It's very interesting to be doing a show, a craft show, and people walking by your table, your booth, and some people go, they take a quick look and then they just keep walking because they're like, I don't know what that is, and I'm not going there. And then the next person goes, oh, what are you doing? What's this? Why did you do that? What's happening here? And then I'm like, oh, thank you. I just get to share my story with you. And then those are the people. And then the people that have come that way, they're regulars. They come every time. They want to see what's your new thing, and they want to collect more of your pieces. I don't know if I know anybody that only has one of my pieces. It's like as soon as if they've kind of got one, they want more, and that, which is lovely.
What do these pieces give you?
Joy. Just plain joy. There's the joy the minute I see it, and then there's the joy of figuring out what it is. Then there's the joy of making it into that thing. And then there's the joy of showing somebody else. So it's all through that process. And because of the materials I work with, nothing's standards, nothing's exactly the same. Every time you take a piece of old metal and try to join it with another piece of old metal, you have to figure out how it's going to work. The dream project is always just the next piece. Like I'm not waiting. That was the one thing I did remember about my mom that I always felt was sad, is I always felt like she was waiting till something. And I'm not waiting. It's
Susanna, making things, creating things, that is part of you. And so the dream project is to continue to live in this way where you're fulfilled.
Yes.
And wow, what a dream to live, Susanna. Next, we head east of the city to Chestermere to meet a creator who raises awareness about colorism through art. Today, my guest is Justine Bui, a visual artist. Thank you for being here, Justine.
Thank you for having me.
I want to talk about your artistic journey.
In my artwork, I focus on colorism in Asian communities. That's something that I was impacted with at a young age, same with my sister and my cousins and friends. So that's something that we wanted to speak to in terms of art. It happens to a lot of families actually at a very young age. So I was born here in Calgary, Alberta, and I'm half Chinese, half Vietnamese. And yeah, it's a conversation that happens, I find, behind closed doors. So within the family houses, at dinners, or even at restaurants, family gatherings is where sometimes there's relatives who subtly speak to, hey, maybe you should try this lotion, or you should eat this or drink this to see if you can get that lighter skin. Because colorism is the discrimination where within one's own community, they think that having fair skin has more benefits than those with darker skin. It does trace back a lot in the Asian community of if you do have darker skin, that means you worked in the rice fields or you did a labor job rather than an office job or an indoor role.
Yeah, similar to like white collar and blue collar here, but not a choice.
Exactly.
Something that it like innately is within you.
So many things to speak to about in colorism, and how I like to portray the art is through installation, just because there's so many things you can speak about, but I like to also come at it at the subtle way. So all of these hidden messages of this ingredient, for example, can cause this harmful thing. But the way that skin whitening products are portrayed to us and sold to us, they make it sound like it's good for you. But there's also those hidden meanings of it's bad for you for all of these reasons. One of the drivers that I constantly have to create this art is, if we can't even eliminate colorism in our own communities, how can we eliminate racism? Right? Yes.
You're already snapping.
Justine,
you're already snapping. Tell me about your last project and how you felt as you were creating it.
The last project that I did was with the help from the University of Calgary. I'm actually very grateful for all the support and the staff at the University of Calgary. They're the ones that also made me realize that colorism needs to be spoken about more. So I would touch on colorism within my projects, but the feedback from seeing the assignments were lots of shock and surprise that this issue still exists. It was an installation that used a lot of fake grass, fake moss, to make it seem like a earthy, inviting kind of space that speaks to natural beauty, but it's also not so natural because of the fake grass, the fake flowers that were used. It also had lots of the whitening products within these plinths, so glass casing, make it sound and seem like a product that is for sale, something that's so like the golden kind of state, but because it's within a glass plinth, it's something that you can't ever reach as a person. Yeah, it also had all these hidden messages, so I even had my mom help write Chinese on these flowers, but those Chinese words were negative words of how you felt from colorism. So it felt, words like ugly or not pretty enough or can't be successful were written on those flowers. And same with my dad, who's on the Vietnamese side. I got him to help me write words such as rice fields or working in labor, things like that within the space. And then also use lots of photography in there as well. I do love photography, and speaks to directly the white and the dark, the light and the dark within our skin. So using lots of cosmetic products to show that even in the Asian cosmetic industry, there's not enough inclusivity. A couple of the pieces within that project, and there's still definitely a lot more to speak about.
For sure.
It made me think about for us as young adults to talk to colorism, but also within my research, I know that it's not just us and future generations that have to speak to colorism to promote change, but also hopefully getting acceptance from parents and from grandparents to understand that issue It can't just be us and then the next. To make that change, it's also a balance on both sides. The parents and the older generations, they did want the best for us. So they wanted to make sure that we were taken care of. So that's why for me to pursue this art and for all of us to support this art, we're also trying to do it in a gentle, kind way. Not in the fact that we disagree 100% with the way we were raised, but just that the world is changing, so hopefully we can perceive the issue differently.
Now we introduce you to a choir that shares joy through music to isolated and marginalized communities. Music is in the air. Thank you so much for agreeing to come and sit with me on Living a Creative Life. Trish, you said you're a singer. When did you start singing?
I started singing as a child in my parents' basement.
Okay.
And then I studied music. And then I had a long hiatus. And then 26 years ago,
Okay.
I bumped into a gentleman who conducted a choir, and we were talking, and he said, "Come and sing with us." And I had never joined a choir, never in my entire life, even though I was a singer. So it was rather daunting, but I took him up on the invitation, and that was probably one of the best days of my life. We do have the 3 divisions, so we do have many options for people to participate. I actually have sung in all 3 divisions.
Okay.
I started with Up To, which was for ARC. It was the founding division. It is our mixed division of singers. There was a desire coming from the community and from some of our members just to form a women's only chorus. So we formed She's Up To Something. And I sang in that group for 10 years. We started working on forming Something Good in 2017. And the concept was our stage would be seniors' residences, performing for people that don't have access to music and performance, vulnerable populations, people like that. A big part of our focus in performance in the community is involving the audience in our sing-alongs. So we do have some rehearsed pieces that we bring in performance, but then we open up the floor to sing along and join us. And this one particular location is an organization that has group homes for people, adults with developmental disabilities. 2 of their members always come up and sing with us. And it's so uplifting. We had a member last year, she said, "We need these people that we are performing for as much as they need us."
Oh, yeah.
To give back to so many wonderful people that have given so much to our society. And also, we get a lot back from them. We get a lot of love back from them, and we give as much love as they give us. So it's wonderful. Our age range, I wanted to mention this earlier, which is really great, is anywhere from 30 to, I think our eldest member is 85.
Yeah. So you just...
So we just run the gambit, and it's great. Yeah. Each of us who are choir members, we do pay choir fees.
Okay.
Because the wonderful benefit I haven't talked about is we have professional directors, music directors, musicians, pianists, our accompanists are all professionals. So we, as choir members, that is a big, big bonus for us. So we have to pay them. And we pay for the venues that we utilize. So we depend on organizations like CADA for grants and donations. We ask people when they're buying a ticket, maybe they can make a charitable tax donation. So
there's many ways that people can support our organization. By the time we're finished in June, we will probably have done about 15 to 16 locations.
Wow.
We have a waiting list, and it's really tough. Part of my job is to book those performances, and it's really hard when somebody phones and says, "Can you come and perform?" And I have to say, "I'm really sorry, our calendar is totally full." It's pretty great.
That's
Yeah.
gotta be amazing to know
Yeah.
that the community wants you.
Oh, it is. It's amazing. I got an email this morning saying, "Can you come sing at our hospice?" And somehow, I haven't even talked to our director, but I want to make that happen.
You like turkey, you like ham, you can't deny it. Now's the time to fill up your plate.
So when people say they want to join, there is no audition process. They come, and then what we say is, "Do you know what voice part you might be?" "Well, I think I'm an alto, but I'm not sure." So for the first week we say, sit in the alto, see how that feels. And then if they decide in week 2, for example, alto's not for them, but they think that maybe they want to join the soprano twos, we'll put them over there until they find their place. If there's someone who's interested, they've never belonged to a choir before, but they want to come and check it out, come and check it out. Come and talk to us. Come and sit with us and sing, or sit at the back of the room and just listen and see if we're the community you want to join.
Pat yourself on the back. That was really good.
Thank you, Susanna, Justine, and Trish for sharing your stories and embodying the creative spirit. We'll see you next time on Living a Creative Life.